in their houses, and they tied handkerchiefs over their noses when they went out, and wore goggles to protect their eyes. When night came again, it was black night, for the stars could not pierce the dust to get down, and the window lights could not even spread beyond their own yards. Now, the dust was evenly mixed with the air, an emulsion of dust and air. Houses were shut tight, and cloth wedged around the doors and windows. But the dust came in so thinly, watering troughs, and nuzzled the water to clear the surface dust. After a while, the faces of the men lost their bemused perplexity, and became hard, and angry, and resistant. The women knew that they were safe, and that there was no break. Then they asked, "What'll we do?" And the men replied, "I don't know." But it was all right. The women knew it was all right, and the watching children knew it was all right. Women and children in his mouth, rolled it under his tongue while he walked back to the big red truck. The hitchhiker stood up and looked across through the windows. "Could you give me a lift, mister?" The driver looked quickly back at the restaurant for a second. "Didn't you see the no rider sticker on the windshield?" "Sure, I've seen it. But sometimes a guy will be a good guy, even if some rich bastard makes him carry a sticker." The driver, getting slowly into the truck, considered the parts of this answer. If he refused now, not only was he not a good guy, but he was forced to carry a sticker, was not allowed to have company. If he took the hitchhiker, he was automatically a good guy, and also he was not one of whom any rich bastard could kick around. He knew he was being trapped, but he couldn't see a way out. And he wanted to be a good guy. He glanced again at the restaurant. "Scrunch down on the running board till we get round the bend," he said. The hitchhiker flopped down out of sight and clung to the door handle. The motor roared up for a moment. The gears clicked in, and the great truck moved away. First gear, second gear, third gear, and then a high, whining pickup and fourth gear. Under the clinging man, the highway blurred dizzily by. It was a mile to the first turn in the road. Then, the truck slowed down. The hitchhiker stood up. Its shell dragged dirt over the seats. The turtle entered a dust road and jerked itself along, drawing a wavy, shallow trench in the dust with its shell. The old humorous eyes looked ahead, and the horny beak opened a little. Its yellow toenails slipped a fraction in the dust. Thank you so much for listening. I think that is the shortest chapter of any book I've done so far. So thank you very much for listening. Like, comment, share, all that jazz. And as the embankment grew steeper and steeper, the more frantic were the efforts of the land turtle. Pushing hind legs, strained and slipped, boosting the shell along, and the horny head protruded as far as the neck could stretch. Little by little, the shell slid up the embankment, until at last a parapet cut straight across its line of march. The shoulder of the road, a concrete wall 4 inches high. As though they worked independently, the hind legs pushed the shell against the wall. The head upraised, and Pierre's beak was partly open, and his fierce, humorous eyes, under brows like fingernails, stared straight ahead. He came over the grass, leaving a beaten trail behind him, and the hill, which was the highway embankment, reared up ahead of him. For a moment, he stopped, his head held high. He blinked, up and down. At last, he started to climb the embankment. Front clawed feet reached forwards, but did not touch.
20 years of heartbreaks and the greatest victories. To get to the Super Bowl is hard, to win is even harder. Realizing my potential has been what my career has been all about.
If you shop on Amazon, you should use this tool. It's a browser extension that automatically compares Amazon to other sellers to see if there's a better...
The pint from his pocket, unscrewed the metal cap, and sipped the whiskey delicately, running his tongue inside the bottleneck and then round his lips to gather in any flavour that might have escaped him. He said experimentally, "There we spied a nigger," and that was all he could remember. At last, he turned about and faced the dusty side of the road that cut off at right angles through the fields. The sun was hot, and no wind stirred the sifted dust. The road was cut with fur. He leaned down and untied the laces, slipped off first one shoe and then the other, and he worked his damp feet comfortably in the hot, dry dust until little spurs of it came up between his toes and until the skin on his feet tightened with dryness. He took off his coat and wrapped his shoes in it and slipped the bundle under his arm. And at last, he moved up the road, shooting the dust ahead of him, taking a cloud that hung low to the ground behind him. The right-of-way was fenced. 2 strands of barbed wire on willow poles. I love people so much I'm fit to burst sometimes. I says, "Don't you love Jesus?" Well, I thought, and finally, I says, "No, I don't know nobody named Jesus. I know a bunch of stories, but I only love people. And sometimes, I love them fit to burst, and I want to make them happy. So I've been preaching something, and I thought I would make them happy. And then, I've been talking a hell of a lot. Maybe you wonder about me using bad words. Well, they ain't the preacher. I've been a long time without a girl," he said. "It's gonna take some catching up." Casey continued. "It worried me till I couldn't get no sleep. Here, I'd go preaching, and I'd say, 'By God, this time I ain't gonna do it.' And right while I said it, I knowed I was." "You should have got a wife," said Jude. "Preacher and his wife stayed at our place one time. Jehovah's they was. Slept upstairs." Hale nodded his head slowly. "Every kid got a turtle sometime or other. Nobody can keep a turtle though."
New flavors? Worth fanning over.
"I don't take no offense except busting the nose," said Jude. "What you figure?" "I figured about the Holy Spirit and the Jesus Road. I figured, why do we gotta hang it on God or Jesus? Maybe, I figured, maybe it's all men and all women we love. Maybe that's the Holy Spirit. The human spirit. The whole shebang. Maybe all men got one big soul everybody's a part of. Now sat there.
$99 a month.
Man, look at this cable bill.
Well, what if I told you that you could get home internet from Verizon?
Verizon does home internet?
Verizon does home internet, and it's only $25 a month.
Can you tell me more?
Correct heading number with L and R, but the others, they're going to get the next closest numbers, but not exactly correct numbers, which is practical, I suppose, but also, it's all slightly misaligned. It's big airports, like, it doesn't line up. Like, just try not to think about it, okay? Just try not to think about it. Oh, we're landing at Nook already? Wow, flights fly fast when you're laughing about flying. Time to put this knowledge to use. Our 42 degrees, so round to 10, 440. Cut to 0. What runway it took, it'll be on. No doubt about that. Oh, it's fine. Hey, why are you painting a new runway number? You do that every...
And the air was dry, so that mucus in the nose dried to a crust, and the eyes watered to keep the eyeballs from drying out. Casey said, "See how good the corn come along till the dust got up? Been a dinger of a crop." "Every year," said Joe, Every year I can remember we had a good crop coming, and it never come. Grandpa says she was good the first 5 plowings, while the wild grass was still in her. The road dropped down a little hill and climbed up another rolling hill. Casey said, Old Tom Town can't be more than a mile from here. Ain't she over that third rise? Sure, said. The cornfield ended, and a dark green cotton took its place. Dark green leaves through a film of dust, and the bolts forming.
That's super overpriced, but whatever. Can you just buy it? We've been shopping all day. My eyes hurt. Wait. There's gotta be a coupon code. Perfect. We've got honey. Just press apply coupons and we're good to go. Stop distracting her. We could have been done by now. Those coupon codes never work anyway. Honey searches the whole internet for a good promo code. And so what if we don't have one? That means we probably
Split into multiple magnetic poles, roam randomly, or diminish entirely before, oh my, flipping north to south and south to north, which it does every couple 100,000 years or so. And we have no way of predicting when. Great. That'll cause some trouble